What is up, everybody? In this topic today in my video, I'm going to be talking about forgiveness. And I feel like nowadays, especially when I see online and just interactions in general, I feel like forgiveness is such a huge aspect. And I see whether it's a TikTok and they're like, you need to learn how to forgive. And the comment section is full of comments saying, nope, I can never forgive them for what they do, for what they did to me. And I want to say, you should learn how to forgive, not forget. Forgiving, I think, is a concept that a lot of people think they have, but whenever it becomes more inconvenient for them in order to forgive someone, then they don't cross that line. They don't want to forgive anymore. And I think the more so that you follow this path of not allowing forgiveness in your life, the more likely you are to use that deep level of hatred that's within you for not being able to forgive for what's been done to you. It's been done to you and it will always be there. That's why you're never going to forget it. But if you forgive, you move forward, you realize, I need to move forward. I cannot keep this hatred within me and carry it for the rest of my life. And to me, I feel like people lack this forgiveness and empathy factor when it becomes inconvenient. But they claim that they are these things, and they claim that they're this higher being in terms of not like actual higher being, but like this higher conscious and higher person. But whenever it becomes a struggle for them now, then they're like, nope, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. I don't care. They don't deserve it. When it applies to them, then they realize, you know what? I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it my way. And that's when all their principles fall out the window. And it's quite literally impossible for us to always apply our principles to every situation. But I feel like in forgiveness, it is such a key concept. We need to learn how to forgive. We're not justifying the acts that have been done to us. But in order for us to move forward, especially if you're in North America as a country, we are so divisive. And everyone in the media tries to create narratives and everyone just wants to go against each other. And it's not going to work. We are living in the same country. We cannot live in the same country and expect things to get better if we have this little level thinking of, I don't like what you're doing. I'm not going to forgive you. If you want to repent for what you're doing, or if you want to move forward, you don't get it. I'm not going to forgive you ever. It's just not going to happen because you were like this, or you still are like this. But if we can acknowledge and move forward and say, hey, I understand that what you did is wrong, and I can't forget that you did those things, but we can move forward and come together. And I feel like we need to create a togetherness. And it sucks nowadays when I see people and excuse me, and they just don't want to forgive. They claim that they're empathetic, they're nice, they're kind. But now these people who maybe don't align with them on everything, and I understand they might be a shitty person, but still, they're living in the same country, they still exist. I mean, like I think in order for us to move forward, this has to be some level ground. And I think that's also, when I say the inconvenience of forgiving, that's the hardest part. Because even though it's not your fault, or it wasn't your fault, or it was only their fault to begin with, it still can be put onto you. And it's unfair. It absolutely is unfair. But it takes two sides to make this work. It can't just work one way. It has to work by coming together. And like I said, it couldn't even be your fault. I think a lot of people think it's not my fault, it's their fault. They have to get it together. Not me, them. And honestly, there is some truth to that. But at the same time, to come together to really create that community and togetherness in the world, because I know there's a lot of hate nowadays that just so casually spread and informed. People just think it's okay to be, so hateful and so it could be racist or sexist, and people just think it's just so normalized. And I think now that they are trying to categorize these people and say, if you're like this, I won't forgive you. You will never get anything from me. But we have to learn to forgive and come together, which I'm not trying to defend. I know I've said this like 7 different times, but the way we're doing it right now, it's just not working. It isn't. And I'm no public speaker, as you can tell from the way I'm concluding this video, but we need to come together, learn forgiveness, learn empathy. Just because it doesn't apply to us, or if we don't want to apply it, doesn't mean that's when we stop. That's not how we should do it. We should come together and learn to truly understand. I know we can't forget the actions that we have put onto each other. There's lots of fucked up people in the world. I am aware of that. And I don't forget those actions. I don't like them as much. But at the same time, if we can forgive them and learn to move forward rather than holding a grudge and channeling that hatred and just inflicting more hatred, hatred on hatred will never be the answer. I think a lot of people think that they're not hating or they think that their hating is justified, but it will never be justified if you want to use hatred for hatred or violence. It's never gonna work. Never.